format makes an apology.
Oh, okay. I like it. I'm ready for this.
All right. So if you've been watching, we've done a bunch on the boards. Really, we've been trying to get I've been trying to get myself put in a position to find a board that will have me. Um, just to catch you up, and I'll catch you up quickly. This is how we got here. I wanted to find a board where a white male 40 something can finally get a chance.
Okay.
Where I can get paid. I have job security, and I really don't like work. So I figured something
I can
that I didn't
attest to
have
that.
to work that hard. Okay. I narrowed it down to 16 companies. I
Yep.
called them the Sweet 16. They include companies like Corning, Exelon, Chubb, Thermo Fisher, Stanley Black and Decker, Waste Management, a bunch of companies. One in particular stood out to me for a number of reasons. A company called Leggett and Platt. Though I
Okay.
know nothing about making parts for beds, I did find that there were a bunch of board members in the Sweet 16 who were also board members at other Sweet 16 companies. And I thought, well, this is the perfect group to weed to cull from because, and then I ended up choosing a woman named Phoebe Wood because she'd been on the board of Leggett and Platt. Long story short, I need to apologize here to Phoebe. So sorry,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Phoebes, if I can call you Phoebe, because I think,
Yeah.
I mean, the point is I targeted Phoebe Wood instead of the old crusty white guy. I don't know if he's crusty. Maybe he's not actually like physically crusty. It's
I hear another
metaphorically,
apology coming.
yeah,
Yeah.
metaphorically
Uh-huh.
crusty. Um, because what I'm trying to do here is make a point, which both you and our executive producer pointed out that I chose a woman, and that's sort of the point. Like I'm another white guy trying to get a board member, but
Yeah.
given how it's sort of not terribly funny if you are a woman and you finally have a board job, like to call that.
Right.
Okay.
Especially if you're a real woman.
But here's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Boards are totally fucked up.
Okay.
Okay.
I like the premise.
And I'm gonna now go a little bit harder at one board in particular that's in my Sweet 16 that was an
Do it.
outlier. A,
Let's get at it.
a company called Fidelity National Financial. I mentioned them yesterday, but
Mm.
this company is not the Fidelity like you think of when you think of like mutual funds and like big financial services. This is a title insurance company. I think it's based in Florida. And I pulled every board member from from Fidelity FNF. I'll call them FNF, Fidelity National Financial's a board. There are two board members I couldn't find pictures of. A Daniel Ron Lane and a Richard Massey.
Okay.
According to my census statistics, the probability that both of those people are white are in the 90%. So I don't know that they're white. There is okay. This is the number 256th company in the world's best employers list by Forbes. They make $8 billion in revenue. According to MarketWatch, they have actually a pretty strong buy recommendation on the stock. Over the next 12 to 18 months, it's expected the median price expectation is up 8%. So investors like this company. It's a small cap company, but investors like it. And overseeing this rising tide, 7 of the 10 board members have been on the board for at least 13 years.
Jeez. Okay.
70% of the board has been there for 13 or more years.
Yeah. It's a long time.
That's two of them have been there for 30 plus years.
Oof. Okay.
Okay. Of them, one of them is Bill Foley. He actually is the owner of the Vegas Golden Knights. So if you're a hockey fan, the
Uh,
owner also happens to be another crusty white guy,
yeah.
crusty to be confirmed, on an American board. He created this company during the 80s leveraged buyout nonsense that happened. Out of a small title company, he acquired his way to creating what is FNF today. He's been on the board for 35 years. Happens to pay himself every once in a while from the company coffers for things like IT support, a little $300,000 for company events over the years. FNF actually, bought from him a small brokerage firm that he owned 52% of. So made a nice mint on that. But this, in case you're worried, he's the chair. The CEO also on the board, a Mr. Quirk. In case you're worried, if he gets fired for any reason, he'll get paid 2 times his annual $4.4 million salary and an $8 million cash severance for any involuntary firing. So these people, they got it together. There's one woman on the board.
Okay.
A woman named Heather Murrin. So of the board members, approximately none of them really have any direct insurance expertise, right? Obviously.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Yeah.
So the one woman, Heather Murrin, she actually wrote the Financial Crisis Inquiry Report from 2008. She was the one the government was like, you're an expert. You write this, please dissect what happened and write it up for us. She was one of the people who wrote it. She was the head of global securities and economics at Merrill Lynch. She sits on this board with a couple of dudes who are real estate developers in like the LA and Florida area. A little incongruous. If I were her, I might be sitting there thinking, why am I the smartest person here? How did that happen? And my big shot at a board is a small cap title insurance company. In their board, I pulled from their board charter, they actually write, this is what they're looking for. This is how they mandate to themselves. We are looking for, can we consider all aspects of diversity, including diversity of age, gender, nationality, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, in order to enable the board to perform its duties and responsibilities effectively. They have one woman on the board. One. So just take a look at that. Now,
one who has to be so incredibly qualified even just to get there.
So much smarter. I'm going to move through some stats really, really quickly to sadden you before I get to my final takeaway. Yep. Number 1, 6% of U.S. publicly traded companies have 0 women on their boards. 6%. 35% of U.S. publicly traded companies have 1 or less women on their boards. 1 or less. Wow. FNF,
sad.
Part of the more than a third.
Yeah.
31% of publicly traded companies are overboarded. So there's plenty of fucking room to find new talent because all of the board members basically are on boards elsewhere. They're just white guys on boards with each other for the most part. Here, I identified basically 3 candidates. Now, FNF, they have investors come up for a vote every 3 years, or board members come up for a vote every 3 years. And they got more than 10% votes against in this last round for Lane, Thompson, and Massey. These guys have been on the board for 27, 30, and 13 years. So there's some around the margin investor motion saying not so great to have this kind of entrenchy, boardy thing. But this is my final takeaway.
Okay.
I've been picking on the companies for picking board members that are all white, crusty old men, and I've been trying to leverage that and try to get myself a board seat. But it's not really the company's fault. It's investors' fault, isn't it?
Well, they're the ones voting on it, right?
There are 5 asset managers who own more than 30% of FNF's total shares.
Okay.
This is a 1 share, 1 vote company. 5 companies own the ability to effectively erase FNF's board, or at least vote in a way that can erase their board. And while we've seen a little bit of voting against the board members, I'm pretty sure their core duty is to vote, no matter what, if they own it actively or passively, vote your proxies because FNF is not an outlier. I just want these companies, these asset managers, these investors' job is to answer one simple question. Who should we entrust to watch management? What should a board look like? Right now, these 5 investors, amongst all the others, have largely said white dudes who sit on the board for 15 plus years on a row on average is totally fine. So my point is, if investors care so little, I'm not going to try to make you care. If you care so little, I'm a white dude with years of time to waste. Why the hell can't I get a board seat?
Yeah, you have the potential for lots of years to waste.
So many years.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to get here.
All right.